What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Multiverse Monologues, the podcast show where we like to travel across the multiverses and fandoms that we love to talk about the movies and television shows that accompany those universes. I am your co-host, Ben Rayside, and this week on the Marvel Movie Marathon, we have the great privilege to talk about the first film of 2019, that being Captain Marvel. 2018 was a great year for us, guys. There was a lot of great movies in 2018, and now we are entering our final year on the marathon, on the Marvel Movie Marathon.
Wow.
There is four movies in 2019.
For now.
That's true. Yes, we are not ending it, but yes, there are four movies that we have left to review in this coming Marvel Movie Marathon. I know. It's really sad, but we can savor the moment because we still have four more to talk about. And this week, it's Captain Marvel, and I'm not going to be the only one talking about it. All right. Also joining us on this podcast are the gentlemen who helped make it possible. This Marvel Movie Marathon. First and foremost, we have Mr. Ethan Wentzloff. Ethan, how are you?
I'm doing great, guys. I am happy to be here. This is our 54th film on this Marvel Movie Marathon, but our second female-led film. That's right. Our first one would be the great film Elektra. Yeah, I'm excited to be here talking about Captain Marvel. Is it as good as Elektra? We better hope and pray that it is. But famously, Elektra was not too hot. But no, I'm excited to learn how Nick Fury lost his eye. I'm excited to see what happens.
Iconic villains, the Skrulls, making their debut in Captain Marvel. What's going to happen?
It's going to be a good movie.
We're going to talk about it. Not just me and Ethan here, but also Mr. Micah. Micah, how are you?
Mother flirkin', man.
I'll censor that.
Wow. All right. We are a rated R podcast now, guys. Yeah, I'm excited to talk about Captain Marvel. My favorite show of the year was Secret Invasion. I loved how...
And your favorite movie, famously The Marvels.
Yeah, and The Marvels is my favorite movie of the year. So really, this really goes just hand in hand, and how excited I was to go into this movie.
Yes.
And I can't wait to see where the roots of all of my favorite characters come from.
There is not a better time to review 2019's Captain Marvel.
And I will say, I'm just going to start off right off the bat by saying this is better than Secret Invasion and The Marvels. I'm just going to just jump right out there.
Nah, all right, the podcast is over. We don't even need to go any further with that. Mikey gave it a 10. I'll give it a 10 right now. Ben,
you're giving it a 9, right?
9.5.
He doesn't give 10s.
We'll see you next week.
Same bad time.
You're the guy who doesn't give 10s. You haven't given one, right?
Nope, no 10s yet. Maybe this is the week, guys. This is the week.
Little tease there.
Well, we're going to find out, folks. Let's hit up our sling rings and head over to the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Get that thing away. How'd that get in here?
The cat? This isn't what you're afraid of, is it?
That's not a cat. That's a flurkin.
Set in 1995, Captain Marvel follows the journey of Vers, a Kree warrior who suffers from amnesia and recurring nightmares of a life on Earth as Carol Danvers. As Vers uncovers the truth about her past, she finds herself caught in the middle of a galactic war between the Kree and the Skrulls, shape-shifting aliens who pose a threat to the entire universe. With the help of Nick Fury, a young S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, Vers must harness her incredible powers to stop the Skrulls and uncover the secrets of her true identity. Will it happen? This is 4 years now removed from Captain Marvel. It's a long time, folks. And we are, as Micah said at the start, removed from Secret Invasion and the Marvels most recently. And how does it hold up? Is it any good? Is it better than when it usually came up? But what I want to pose to you guys is the question I always do right at the start. What were your thoughts back then, back in 2019? And I'll shoot this over to Mr. Wentzloff first. Where were you at?
Where was I at? I was in the theater, guys. Come on. A movie in between Infinity War and Endgame. If I wasn't already in the theaters, which I was for every Marvel movie, I was, of course, there for this one. And I remember I went in, people were really hating on this movie. I went in, I watched it, and I remember remember thinking, that was okay. Like, it wasn't anything special. And then I left the theater, and here I am 4 years later, having just watched it for my second time today.
Whoa.
This is the second time I've ever seen this movie.
Oh, I thought you meant you watched it twice today.
Oh, I didn't. No. No, I would.
Watching it for my second time
Do
today.
you know there was a man who saw this movie a record number of times?
Oh, I
at a
hate
theater.
that picture
Did you guys,
so much.
Did you guys?
This guy saw Captain Marvel 140 times. Brie
140
Larson posted it
times.
on her Instagram story.
There you go. It's
Good.
right there.
Good for that guy. What's the math,
140
Micah?
times.
Can you calculate the runtime of this
All right,
movie?
140 times
So basically
times
2
hours and 1 minute. Carry the one. 280 hours.
It's a lot.
11
guys.
and a half days.
He spent watching Captain Marvel.
You know what?
All right.
Okay. Hold on. 140. What's like the average movie ticket? $10? $8?
Let's go with $12. That's average because he probably lived in a big area.
Okay, yeah, and he's gonna go watch it in IMAX a couple times too, probably. So
right. So you have to carry it a little bit.
$1,680 plus he probably bought the Steelbook day one, $60 more. So you can watch it even more times, plus a Disney Plus subscription, because you know he's going to get Disney Plus to watch it digitally anywhere he goes.
IMAX enhanced version.
IMAX enhanced
Gotta do
as we
that.
watched it.
Even Brie Larson must have been like,
I mean, look at her face. She's like,
is this guy okay?
like she's doing a surprised face, but it's definitely like this guy's a creep face.
It's gotta be. This guy found it. You know what? We're not going to get into it, folks. The point being, there was people who liked this movie. But back to you, Ethan. It didn't sound like you were insanely hot.
No, I wasn't. It even when I've done full marathon like rewatches of the whole MCU, this has been one that I don't like intentionally skip it. It just ends up like, I just end up not watching it because you have like that weird like, chronologically it's right after Captain America, so you could watch it then, but really it fits here between Ant-Man and Endgame, but who wants to watch it there?
You really watching the second in your binge? Like,
no, you're not watching that second. So yeah, it just isn't one I revisit a lot. And then I have to say, I mean, after revisiting it today, this movie is like the best. No, I'm kidding, guys.
it's definitely the best Marvel movie set in the 90s.
Blade is set in the 90s, I'm pretty
The
sure.
best MCU movie set in the 90s.
X-Men movies are set in the 90s too.
99 for the first one.
It's still 90, Micah. Plus, when it does the jump forward, it doesn't give us whatever. I'm diving into that, but this movie's a movie that we watched today, and I'm excited to talk about it. I don't have crazy hate towards it, but I'm definitely not gonna fight against any hate you guys throw this movie's way.
Okay, Mr. Het, did you see this movie in theaters?
No.
No.
I don't even have a story for this one. It was just like, I was going
to
to say, let me tell you a story, because I've said that the past few times now,
Yes.
that there was a story to be told. However, looking through all of the documentation that I have, all of the pictures, all the memories, just a normal week for me. This one completely whoosh, passed me by. I believe this was a movie that I saw folding laundry. And it wasn't one of the good ones that I remember folding laundry. Like, some of the movies, I fold the laundry and I kept watching the movie and I was like, wow, this is really good. Like Black Panther. Like, I mean, even Solo piqued my interest a little bit. Rogue One was one of those movies. I've folded a lot of laundry, I will tell you, gentlemen. And this movie was a movie that I folded laundry to, and then when I finished, I put the laundry away and I took a nap.
Okay.
Yeah.
Folding laundry was more interesting than Captain Marvel, would you say?
What?
I do have a lot of shirts.
Some of them are pretty cool.
Some of them are pretty cool. I don't know. All right. There's a lot to like about this movie, but also a lot not to like about this movie. And
Agreed.
I think
Yeah.
that there's just not enough there to get this across the line for me. I'll talk about it, but for me, I watched this, just on a normal day. It didn't impact me. It didn't change me in any way. I think this is the beginning of the end for the Marvel cinematic universe. This is the start of creating characters that don't leave any lasting impact. We don't care about them at all. They don't have any emotional payoffs. They don't connect with anybody, and they just kind of exist to fill a slot on the character roster. And I wish it wasn't for a female lead, because then there's the cheap jab at, oh, she's just a female lead. People are just jabbing at her because she's female. No.
Because Micah hates women.
Because Micah hates women, yeah. I'll have you know, I watched Room earlier this week, and I love Brie Larson. I did watch Room earlier this week.
What did you think of that?
I liked it. That was the third time I've watched that movie now. And I watched it with Rebecca. We both really liked it. Good. She is a very great actress. She holds, there's three people in that movie basically for the first half of it. And she holds her own. She makes you feel emotion. She just really sells the character. And here, I think she's just dealt a bad hand.
Yeah, like I don't think anyone sits here and goes, yeah, Brie Larson, casting her as Captain Marvel, that's awful. Awful choice. No, I think really good choice. We just haven't seen the reward of that choice, especially in this movie. You don't see it.
So who is to blame, though? That's partially where I'm at, because in one way, this movie makes $1 billion. There's no surprise there. Every Marvel film in 2019 makes over $1 billion. And yet, even now, 4 years after this, a movie later, a TV show later, I still am not sold on this character, who is played by this Oscar-winning actress, Brie Larson. So who's to blame here? Who wrote the movie? Is that the problem? Is the writing the problem in this movie? It might be. I'm going to venture to guess that yes, it is. That's one of my problems with the movie.
Let me see what else she's done, the director. So directed by Anna Boden, I believe that's how you pronounce it, is our second female director that we've seen in our Marvel movie podcast. And this is second only to the director of Punisher Warzone.
Ooh, Punisher Peak Zone.
Zone.
Famously Ben's favorite movie on the marathon.
Lexi Punisher. Alexander, the sequel to Ben's favorite movie. But it is not our first. That was also not our first woman involvement in the movies. Famously, our first movie, Howard the Duck, was written by a Willard and a Gloria Katz. Willard Hugh.
Yes, I do know what you're talking about.
And Gloria Katz. And I'll also let you guys know, Guardians of the Galaxy was written by James Gunn and Nicole Perlman, Nicole Perlman was also on the writing staff for Captain Marvel, along with Meg Fauve, Anna Boden, Ryan Fleck, and Geneva Robertson Dworet. So there are a couple women on the staff here, which is more than any of our other movies combined.
I hate you highlighting that like in the negative way where we're I
think it's significant to what we're talking. I mean, this is our first female movie. Like, this is it, guys.
But we are on the subject of who's to blame.
Right. Unfortunately. That is who it is.
And I would say that the writing in this movie is not good. I, at no point, am endeared to the character of Carol Danvers. And I am going to say the same thing that I said on the Miss Marvel podcast, where if that is the case, this is not a movie that's made for me. All right. I like a lot of movies, and this really doesn't fit into the category, even though it's a multi-million-dollar comic book superhero film.
$1 billion.
Okay, that sounds like something that's right up my wheelhouse. And yet this one just does not meet the mark. This, I'm not going to lie, had me back in a place where I haven't been in a while, in a place where I have, this is almost pre-MCU, to where I just sit down and watch a movie I haven't seen in a long time or have never seen and slog my way through it.
I think it's, for me at least, it's specifically the third act where the slog hits. It gets into that third act fatigue where you're just done. Miss Marvel or Captain Marvel's flying around, she's blowing up ships, and you want to leave. You don't want to watch anymore. And I hate that because I think the setup is super cool. I really do like the start of this movie. I like the idea of the scrolls and the way that they're like invading Earth. I think is really cool. Now, I don't know about the choice to wipe Carol's memory and the way that they trickle her memory back into the story. That feels really messy, but I think like at the core of this, there is a good movie and a good story to be told. It's just the way it is presented isn't my favorite.
If you've seen the Marvels most recently, that has the same issue. The setup, the story that comes before the story you're watching is kind of really interesting. I would almost rather see that story than the one that we are presented with.
The stuff that they skip over is the stuff that I'm most interested in. And I feel like in this movie, if they spent more time on, while I do really like the unknown beginnings of this movie, I like how they take this in a different direction, where they start off with this war hero, Carol Danvers, being... Veers being super powerful, but she's being restricted by by this man, commander dude and commander. Oh, and I like the beginnings. I like how the rug is pulled out from under us. The Skrulls, if you weren't paying attention in the previous movies about the Kree are the bad guys and the Skrulls are the good guys. But we don't know about the Skrulls before. Whatever, in the context of this movie, I think the beginning act makes a lot of sense. I like it. The action is pretty good. The world building, the sci-fi-ness of it is really awesome. I think they should have stuck with it for the rest of the movie. I think this should have been not an Earth movie.
Yes.
As much as it was. I think that the only Earth parts that should have been there were the flashbacks. I even said it right when they did the first flashback. I was like, oh, I don't remember it being like this. This is cool. If they kept it as a Top Gun-esque, flashback only on Earth, and she just remembers things as the story progresses, and then it's revealed while she's still in space, still doing all that stuff. I think it would have worked better if it wasn't an Earth story. It didn't have to be an Earth story. Why does this Captain Marvel movie have to be spotlighted on Nick Fury? Yeah. Why did I care more about Nick Fury than Captain Marvel? I mean,
well, you say that, but then when I think about the movie I just watched, my favorite elements are the Skrulls when they're first put on Earth.
Yeah.
And when they're taking, and when there's like that
before they start getting all comedic.
Yeah, that paranoia where Nick Fury's in the car and Phil Coulson calls him on the radio, and he's like, he looks over at Skrull Phil Coulson, like that stuff. All that stuff is really good. That's my favorite stuff in this movie. So when you take the Earth out of it, you lose that. So that would be my one concern with that.
I think until the Skrulls, even on the spaceship before when they're reading their mind and stuff, I think those lines there are where I'm kind of teetering the fence, and then they lose me completely. Once they get to Louisiana and Talos is having that conversation, it just changes what idea you had of this movie that it was going to be. Not like in a good way. It's in a way that leaves you like, oh, well, I was just invested in this like Skrulls having at least some sort of coolness about them, and now there's no coolness to them at all. And it wasn't just the mystery of them, it was it was the mystery.
It wasn't the mystery. It was
the threat. All right, it was the threat of them, not the mystery. It was the threat.
There was an actual threat.
Yeah.
From someone other than Thanos that was presented. That was a really cool
concept.
And the
Kree have no threat in my mind.
That is my biggest problem going into this. I was a huge fan of the superhero show called Earth's Mightiest Heroes. And in that, there is a huge Skrull storyline where they invade Earth and they take control of Captain America. And no one knows. And it is fantastic. The paranoia that they go through over who's a Skrull. It disbands the Avengers in that show. And so when I heard that Skrulls were going to be the main villains and that they were going to be coming to the MCU, I was ecstatic. Yeah. I would make up theories. Who's a Skrull right now? There were many videos on the internet before Secret Invasion even that detailed who's going to be a Skrull. And I was so invested. The whole beginning sequence when they're on that space planet with they're extracting this Kree character. Who cares what his name is? And their whole team's going down and they have no idea who's who. And that sense of paranoia is what got me so invested in this movie. And I didn't really even care about the characters because I was like, oh man, this is going to be so great going forward in the MCU. And then they make them good guys. And that is just the worst. They are such good villains. The MCU has wasted the potential of the Skrulls. And then they try to do it again. And it just loses all the thread. So you're absolutely right.
Yeah, in Secret Invasion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
They go, all right, this half is good. This half is bad here in Secret Invasion. But then the show's just bad.
Why make the Skrulls a good guy? Why would you do that? In order to feel sorry for someone? In order to make the villains even more worse than they already are? In the comics, both the Skrulls and the Kree are bad guys. You can have them be both. It is very clearly possible. And guess what? Who are you rooting for? Captain Marvel, because she is at the center of all of this huge war.
Is this the first time that they've done a bad guys in the comics are good guys in the movies?
I don't know.
I don't know.
But
I'm
like,
not as well versed.
I know Yondu was a Guardian. I'm not sure. That's a good question. Comment down below.
That's my biggest pet peeve with this movie. That's the part of the movie that actually makes me angry. Besides the big part that's like, I'm just bored throughout the whole movie, you know? Never once am I legitimately like sitting up in my seat and I'm invested in the movie. It's kind of a slog to get through. And I'm glad, I really am, that I watched it with you guys because or else it would have been 2 hours alone sitting on my phone. As much as I try not to.
You were even on your phone sometimes.
Come on.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That's what we do on the marathon.
The biggest sin a movie can commit is to make you bored watching it. It's not like a Ghost Rider that is offensively bad that I laugh at. Actually, Ghost Rider was just bad. This is just, it's up in the air and it's just boring.
They should have made it. So Carol Danvers, her power set is so unique from what everyone else has. It's like Thor with the axe flying around, but like amplified with Iron Man's beams, plus, super strength, super everything, invulnerable. She's everything. Why is that not used as much as it could have been? I mean, at this point, we have Omni-Man. We have, what's his name from The Boys? Homelander. We've got Superman even. Like, he's been around forever. We have all of these characters that have been beaten to death with how much you can use these extreme powers, and yet they're still coming up with new ways to use Homelander. They're still coming up with new ways to use Omni-Man. They're still coming up with new ways to use Superman. Why is Captain Marvel, who is basically a Superman, but a woman, not used to her fullest potential?
Yeah. And it goes, any character is in the hands of the writers. Yes. Any character is. My favorite character, Daredevil, has had awful stories about him because.
I don't know what you mean.
Yeah. Ben Affleck's Daredevil. Yes. Well, too. Like, it's in the hands of the writers, and it just, she hasn't got that writing. They haven't made me care. I have a lot with a lot of the Superman media too, specifically the Snyderverse. The writing in there, I don't connect with that character. And I know Ben disagrees. We're not going to get into that today, but the writing is at the center.
I can see where you're coming from, though. I'm not mad at that. Yeah.
Even within the canon of this movie, she creates her own plot holes. Like, why is she not absolutely murking these dudes? She has no moral compass of killing. I mean, they cheer right after they kill that one blue girl just because they were, in a fight. She dies. Like, this person dies. So there's no like, oh, I shouldn't kill it. So there's no moral stake.
Yeah, no moral ambiguity.
Who cares? Like, why doesn't she just Omni-Man through these dudes, like crazy and call it a day. Pack it up, go home. Skrulls have a new home because all the Kree have been plowed through by her fist as she's flying through them as a meteor. Like she flies through the ships.
Is that a fun movie though? If Carol Danvers meteors through a,
I mean, I love
civilization.
You have to put them in scenarios that test their powers, and unfortunately, this movie does not have. It gets to a point where it's so gimmicky that at the end she just photons it off. The photons, that little reducer device that she has.
Yeah,
she's just like, oh yeah,
it's symbolism, man. You don't get it. You're just a man. It's literally the man keeping her down.
But that right there, you're saying it as a joke, obviously, but that is what creates so much divisiveness on the internet. And yeah, there are idiots on both sides, but then it just creates division and hate. And there's no place for it. There really is no place for it because it's all nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
A middle of the road movie is a middle of the road movie. If you like this movie, I'm not here to tell you you're wrong for that. Great. People like this movie. A person liked it so much they saw it 140 times. Yeah. But I am not one of those movies. I am not one of those people. I saw this movie. I saw it a second time, and now I'm seeing it for a third time, and I still don't connect with any of the characters. Even Fury, to me, is not that interesting in this movie.
This is the same Fury that they put in the Marvels, if that gives you any...
No, this Fury is better than the one that's in the Marvels.
I think that this one... I think that they're connected. It's not as good. I mean, like, the Marvel's Fury is not as good, but it's definitely like the same writing vein.
This is an interesting question. So when was the last time Fury was interesting?
Winter Soldier?
Was it Winter Soldier? I think it was.
I mean, for us right now, it was Winter Soldier.
Because my thing is, he dies in Winter Soldier, and they bring him back.
That was cool.
Have they done a single good thing since resurrecting
Even in
Nick
Far
Fury?
From Home, he's kind of just
Far From Home, he's a Skrull.
Well, he is a Skrull.
He's a Skrull in Far From Home. Age of Ultron, he eats a sandwich. Doesn't really do much in there. Has Nick Fury done anything since Winter Soldier?
The Hateful Eight.
Yes.
No.
Connect the Marvel Cinematic Universe together. Make it feel more cohesive. But
when is he going to be out? When is Nick Fury done?
I really thought that was going to be the goal of Secret Invasion. Have this character, this spy character, in a show about espionage. Have this be his send-off.
Yeah.
And it, in a way, was, but obviously not because of the Marvels. So it didn't matter at all. The Marvels Nick Fury is nowhere near the complexity, I guess, of Secret Invasion's Nick Fury, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, the complexity and the flatness of that character.
Yeah, they really did a...
Winter Soldier.
But you get what I'm saying? Like, he's such a cool character in Winter Soldier. He is. But since then, what has he done?
He hasn't done much.
And that goes back to the writing. Character is only as good as the writing, and I guess he just isn't dealt the best hand when it comes to being sidelined to Avengers.
I really, really like what you said, Micah, earlier about the beginning of writing stale characters who I care nothing about.
Yeah, like this is it. What movie before this were there just a cast of characters that even after multiple projects with them in it, we don't care about a single one now. Even Nick Fury. From here on out, we don't care about him at all. Captain Marvel, she was hated on from the start, but was that justified? Like, was there anything to care about? I mean, yeah, hate is never justified, sure, but like...
But I get what you're saying, like, when a character is introduced, then you go back and you watch their first movie where they are introduced. So, like, I think Mantis is a great example. When she's introduced in Guardians 2, and then you see her in the Avengers films and what she does, and you see her in the Guardians Holiday Special, and then in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Then when you go back and watch her first movie, you're like, oh, this is so cool that she's here and she's fully realized in this first scene we see with her. And then you're excited to go on that journey again with that character.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get what you're saying. You don't do that with Carol Danvers. You don't go, I want to go back to where she started.
What's the journey here? So Carol Danvers begins with no memory, and then she ends with her memory, and then she rips off the thing. There's no...
She was held back her whole life.
Yeah, but like...
She was held back from the academy. She was held back as a Kree warrior,
Okay.
and now she's not. She is free. That is
Sure.
the journey.
But I feel like we're only seeing the very, very end. We don't see the struggle as much. The only struggle we see with her fighting authority in her life is the beginning fight, where she's like, you know, they're fighting, and then he's like, "Don't use your powers. You got to control it." And she's like, "Ah,
You're holding
you're
back.
right. You're so right."
Don't.
And then the 4 flashbacks we have of her wiping out on the go-kart, the deleted scene of her in the baseball field, and then the military falling off of a rope. Like there's no, and then like some cutaways where some dude is bullying her. Like,
Yeah, would we
that's
have
not much for me.
would
That's
we
not
have
enough.
preferred a traditional story where we see her in the academy, we see her failing? Would we have preferred that?
No, because unfortunately, the writing is bad, but the way Brie Larson plays Captain Marvel has always annoyed me.
Mm.
She is very cocky. She is very, not. It's like she's playing a Tony Stark, but you're not Tony Stark. You're Captain Marvel. You're Carol Danvers. I want more of an endearing character. This is not a Tony Stark.
So you're saying
she's
she's
a
Tony
cocky,
Stark.
It's like she's throwing jabs at Nick Fury all the time. Like, oh, I guess Coulson hasn't learned to hate me yet. Don't worry, he'll get there. You just met him 2 days ago. Like, I know you're cocky. Like, I know you're supposed to be playing this character, but it just comes off as like
and first line to him when he's at the phone booth, even like there was and that whole exchange was like they'd known each other for a while already. They're already like having this banter. Why do you have any motive to do that?
You highlight the performance, but that's very much in the writing too. So
Yes.
are you
that's a good
saying
point.
so characterization? Are you saying when Captain Marvel's introduced, we get more of a Tony Stark personality when we should have got more of a Steve Rogers personality? Or what are you saying?
Well, I don't think they want to do Steve Rogers because it's military. And it's a girl. Everyone in the audience would have been like, "Oh, this is just girl Steve Rogers." They didn't want.
But it
Captain
doesn't feel
Marvel
like
to
girl Tony Stark either.
Yeah, it doesn't. It feels like something else, and I think that's what they were going for. Was they didn't want it to be, "Oh, that's just girl this. Oh, that's just girl that."
we talked
Like,
about
this
this
is
last week.
Captain Marvel.
The best movies talk about what it means to be the character, and they also have them majorly struggle throughout the film.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie does not have that at all. It does not
I agree.
make Captain Marvel struggle. It just shows that she has been held back, and then she unleashes everything.
Yeah,
There is no journey you go on with the character. If you're going to have someone who's cocky and got everything together, you need to break that down. You need to take them back to their roots and show them vulnerable.
Why is
Never
she
once do I
cocky?
feel like Captain Marvel is vulnerable and someone I can relate to.
Yeah, you don't sympathize with the character. You don't get to that point. I feel that. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe like show us. Oh, she has to be cocky to make up for her times where she wasn't as confident in herself or something like that. And now that she is confident, she's using that to mask her in. I don't know. Like they could have gone somewhere else with it. You got what I'm saying, though.
They could have endeared me to the
Yeah.
character. That is the 1,000-foot view into it, and they didn't do that.
No.
So that is my biggest gripe with this, is that it doesn't happen. So if it happened to you, I'd love to know how that happened. What scenes specifically do you point to that make that happen? Because you can argue that the scenes on the farm with Monica Rambeau, not Monica
Maria?
Rambeau, Maria Rambeau. Yes, her best friend. Those scenes are supposed to
They
convey
exist.
emotion. There are some emotional scenes that with two long lost friends, I guess you could say. But again, we don't know who Maria Rambeau is.
And no, we talk about the state of Marvel right now and the lack of like lovable characters and the characters are grab onto, and you see that this is kind of like Micah said, the start of that, where it feels like, okay, yes, Endgame, they know Tony's gonna be ushered out, Cap's gonna be ushered out, and they're trying to place those characters in position, and she definitely feels like one that they're all right. Infinity Saga is coming to a close. We want to start this next journey. We need a character in there to really be the face of the next Avengers, and it sucks because you want this movie. No one wants this movie to not be a home run. We all want it to be a home run, and it just isn't. And it also doesn't help that someone else they hang the franchise on, Chadwick Boseman, he passed away. So unfortunately, that's just where Marvel is, and they haven't built off that. They haven't been able to recover from that.
Their biggest chips that they had played in the game, they just haven't made a return.
One character is not relatable, and the other has sadly, rest in peace, passed on.
They
and
both,
so,
however, made billions of dollars.
They did make a lot of money. Yes, but
and is that where we are? Is that all it's about, making money?
Absolutely.
Because the movies aren't even making money now.
Right.
Yeah, the Marvel's box office just closed today, as I was telling you guys before the podcast. It opened at $46 million and it closed at $197 million with a budget of $274. It's still it's $80 million shy.
Ugh.
$80 million shy of even breaking the budget.
Yeah.
Micah, does this movie make $1 billion? Captain Marvel, does this movie make $1 billion if it's not in between Endgame and Infinity War?
If it wasn't in between, I think
if this was
like if it was before or after.
If this was a Phase 4 film,
It's too hard to say.
I don't think it would have been. I think it would have been like a 500 or a 700 because the trend is that they were making money still.
yes,
Like, but it wasn't nearly the high rise of the other ones.
And I think placement of movies is huge to where like they make like the amount of money they make. But I don't know. It was really the first MCU female led movie that's going to draw people in. The MCU was huge at this time. So
people were seeing it 140 times.
Captain Marvel, having the title character Marvel in your movie. Okay, let's see what that's about. So I don't know. It's hard to say. I don't think it would make $1 billion. But it's hard to judge how much it would actually make. But the placement, you can't blame. Like the placement definitely helps it.
yes.
First movie, right? Or next movie after this is Endgame.
This was many months after Ant-Man and the Wasp, and we were promised. I mean, this is the character at the end of Infinity War. We were promised a Avengers post-credit scene, which is pretty epic, I must say. That scene is very good. A
lot of people went to this movie to see that post-credit scene, to see, what's going to be next, and that definitely boosted sales. But
I mean, at this time,
$1 billion, man.
You have an Endgame trailer out. I mean, I can't even blame. Like,
this is.
I remember
10.
how I was in at the beginning of 2019. I had started my Marvel marathon of the MCU. I watched one a week up until going into Endgame, and I was like, man, I'm eating up MCU content. This was the peak. So yeah, placement of movies. That's a good one.
And since people didn't like they watched it a lot, but they didn't like Captain Marvel as much. I think that contributes to why the Marvels didn't perform as well, is because a lot of people weren't seeing it for the first time. A lot of people were I know multiple people that saw all of these movies back to back multiple times in theaters, regardless of the quality, regardless of what people thought of it, regardless of what they thought of it. They would just go and see it. Like I was saying earlier, for the Infinity War podcast, I mean, my ex at the time, she saw Infinity War more than 10 times in theaters in the first 2 weeks.
That's crazy.
I mean, and she saw Captain Marvel a couple times in theaters.
It was a social thing.
Everybody saw Marvel movies at that time. That was just huge. And that I think that's why there's this huge phantom supporting of Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
But that, like, you talk about MCU fatigue, and I always say, like, it would not exist if movies like this didn't exist. If there was a compelling narrative to every one of these films and you were invested each and every time, there would be no MCU fatigue. There would be no superhero movies have overstayed their welcomes. Yeah. But these have been so often the case over the last 5 years. So it's like, I mean, imagine if they were all across the Spider-Verse quality, okay? You would
Right.
not be
You're
sitting
not
here
sitting there
saying that.
whining.
But that is the way it goes when you have so much of something. Like,
And it really
Quantity over
hurts.
quality.
Yeah, it really hurts now when we have way more bad than good.
yes.
Back when all these movies, like for the most part, really well received, really good times in the theater. But now, like, you got a Thor: Love and Thunder. You got the Marvels. You know, you got a Secret Invasion. You got Miss Marvel,
She-Hulk.
which has
Miss
its charm.
Marvel, I
Yeah,
appreciate
it. Has
it.
its charm, but it's just very like the quality's not there. And on the Weekly Planet podcast, they were talking about it today so Aquaman 2 is projected to make nothing, like barely anything. And it's the Christmas movie, right? Like it's a December release. And that is also $1 billion movie. That first Aquaman is $1 billion movie. But superhero movies have gotten to a point where the majority of fans and majority of just movie watchers, like, yeah, I don't want to see that. And there's a lot of factors that could go into that. It could be, oh yeah, this will just be on streaming in a week. I don't have to come see it.
Has really put a dent
COVID
into that.
affected
Yep.
theaters. People just don't really want to go to the theaters for superhero movies. But we see that theaters are still relevant. Like Oppenheimer and Barbie showed us that this year, that people will run to the theaters to see something compelling.
Yes.
But the superhero genre is not there right now.
No. And I'm hoping that, unfortunately, we have 4 superhero films coming out next year, and only
3.
one of them looks promising.
Hey,
So
Deadpool 3 looks good too.
I
Assuming you were talking about Madam Web, the
That's-
promising looking one.
that is true.
Yeah.
That's
I
what
think
was-
what's really thriving in theaters right now is the indie scene. You saw a movie this week, didn't you? You didn't watch Godzilla?
I did. Yes. Godzilla -1 in theaters. Yes. What was the budget on that movie? That was, I heard, not insane,
15 million.
which
15 million.
is crazy.
Did you see the CGI? Ben, what did you think of the CGI?
It was fantastic. Everything they did with Godzilla, although I'm not kidding you, some of it looked practical. Not to take away so much from Captain Marvel, because this is very much that review, but yes,
movies.
you want to
and
know
budgets,
how much?
and it's like, yeah,
160 mil for that budget. And
it's already made that much.
no, that was the budget for Captain Marvel.
Oh,
That was the budget for Captain Marvel. Godzilla in the box office. It's still opening weekend, right? last weekend?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Beyonce's Renaissance made more than Godzilla -1, but that's besides the point.
Right.
Beyonce and Taylor Swift this year have really.
Godzilla -1 beat the biggest domestic opening for a foreign language movie this year. I think it was like the best Japanese live action box office ever. It grossed $11 million in the first weekend, which insane.
And we talk about this with a movie like this that'll have legs. Word of mouth on that movie is very powerful.
Oh yeah,
People are going to spread the word. Like, you haven't seen it yet.
no, but
It's
I'm going to.
I
fantastic.
haven't seen it yet. So
You need to
This
see
has
it.
convinced me to watch the other Godzilla movies.
right, but this is very much a thing that the Marvel movies don't do. Is they don't have legs after opening weekend. That number we saw with the Marvels, that number opening weekend tells us a ton.
Oh yeah, yeah. Opening weekend was what? It was like $46 million, and it's been out for what, 2 months now, and it made
A month.
$150 million in a month.
Yeah. So shout out to Phil Chapman. I was talking to him the other day.
Yeah.
We famously had our Miss Marvel short blow up.
Infamously.
And when in that short, I say, don't see this movie. Marvel needs to know when this movie doesn't make any money that they made a mistake. And he looked at me and he goes, Ethan, this movie's still gonna make so much money. And yes, it does, but you got to factor in budget. You got to factor in how much they spent to make that movie. Whereas if they spent a lot less making that movie, that 150 million is no joke,
Oh yeah.
right? But it doesn't get that return.
And a 225 million, I believe,
For what?
for the Marvels, I believe was the budget for it.
Yeah, 274. 274.8. It was very specific because this was it was the biggest budget for a black woman director.
How does
ever in history, and is still the best performing movie by a
Marvelous.
black woman
Yeah.
director.
That's crazy. How does it get that high? Well,
Bottoming
anyway,
out the MCU.
we have talked a lot about the negatives of Captain Marvel, the first one. Are there good things? Yes, the movie is not all bad. It's
think
just it suffers from mediocrity and boredom. I'm bored watching it.
Yeah.
But a lot of the sets and the world building, especially on Hala, the Kree Empire, that is really cool. Like I said, I wish it take place in space.
Yeah, the
let's have a
world
whole
building is
movie on
amazing.
Hala.
Why can't we have more of that? For years, since Thor even, I remember saying this, I want just a mythological, space-focused world building experience that we just space romp through the galaxy. Why wasn't this that? Why didn't they just chase the Skrulls across the galaxy through all these planets? Maybe stop by Earth for a little bit. We see some cameos from people that have existed at the time, and now we move on. But instead, we stay there for too long. And there are some cool things about Earth at that time. For example, your favorite agent shows up.
Oh, yes. Agent Coulson.
Agent Coulson. What a cool.
Clark Gregg.
Good de-aging technology also.
Wow.
And
I was
you wanna
looking
segue.
for stuff.
Yeah.
And there was nothing. I mean, with that big of a budget, you might as well
Nick
put in
Fury
some good.
and Clark Gregg both have some de-aging technology on them, and it looks really good. The Skrull, I like the practical costumes of the Skrulls
Yes,
as well.
yes.
Even though it at times looks a little stiff on especially Talos himself, I like the use of practicalness on these Skrulls.
No, yeah, you like that.
Do you not?
No, I do like it. It's something that they.
You know
Yeah, no, I like it a lot. Yeah,
what?
I was agreeing with you. Yeah.
Yes,
Worth it, yeah.
it is good.
But that's about all I got to say about it. I mean, it doesn't look particularly appealing. Doesn't look particularly grotesque as they were describing in the movie. I mean, he's no Brad Pitt, right?
Yes, he is. Not. I like the aura, the special effects aura that comes off of Captain Marvel.
Yeah,
I think
the glow.
Yes, the glow.
Makes the camera lens look
It's
dirty
like-
all the time.
This ethereal like flower.
The lens flares go
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
I like that. That's really cool. Even though the CGI when she's flying around at the end, if you look too closely at her face, it's terrible.
Right.
I know
Yeah.
they gave her a mask to
You
try
don't
and
have to
really
look
hide that.
close.
Well, and to give her the comic accurate look.
The
And
mohawk.
the costume looks great. It's just when you look at her
She got the Yondu mohawk.
mouthpiece,
Mm-hmm.
not good. Not good.
Nope.
But
It's like with every good, there's just equally as bad about the same thing.
Ronan is back.
Wow. Yeah, he is.
Ronan is back as his younger self with no black makeup on. He's completely bald and blue.
I think they just forgot about it.
It really looks like two dudes from the Blue Man Group.
I love
does.
how they call him like 5 times, and at no point is he
Ronan.
like, I don't know, sitting on the toilet or something like, call me
Ronan.
back later, I'm pooping, or like
Would that have changed this
that would have
movie
made
for
this
you?
movie
My
a
God.
10 out
I
of
will
10.
say, that would have been entertaining. Are you kidding me? I'm on the toilet. Needle drops.
I'm going to accuse you.
Yeah.
Needle drops. There were many of them in this film. Did they all work?
No.
No.
There.
They
Oh
did
man.
not.
I love the one
What
where
was the needle drop towards the beginning of the third act?
I'm just a girl.
Yes.
As she's fighting.
I'm just a girl.
It's not the song didn't fit the scene. The editing didn't fit the song. And Micah, you said something during that scene. I'm trying to remember what you
They
said.
went Spotify search songs that say
Girl.
girl in it.
Oh, that's the first one.
Oh, there it is. Actually, right there.
Did actually the first one
Yeah,
come
right
up?
there.
But no, what did you say? You're like,
oh, I get it. I'm just a girl. Before it said I'm just a girl, and Ethan was like, huh?
no. You said something like, oh, this is good. Something super sarcastic. Because I was thinking,
Oh,
it's
this
like,
is good. She's just a girl.
because
I get it.
this is a post James Gunn, space,
Everyone was
Odyssey,
trying to do this.
right? Like the needle drops for James Gunn just fits so well in those Guardians movies. Where when you have one that is just like, you're like, ooh, like pick a song that fits
The vibe.
fits the vibe of the scene, not find a song that you're like, okay, this will This will work.
I don't want to just listen to the lyrics of the song and be like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
And
because every time James Gunn drops the needle in his films, just the vibe of the music.
ooh,
Quill and Gamora dancing. Are you kidding? That's a perfect needle drop right there. It's perfect. They're dancing, and it is. This, on the other hand, it really does look like they searched up on Spotify songs that have girl in it. Boom. There you go.
And how do they take
because it says
huge-
girl?
How do they take huge inspiration from Top Gun, but not put any of the Top Gun songs in here? Like, come on. Two best friend fighter pilots go into a bar and they don't sing the song. Like, come on. Not even a hint
A
of
little
danger zone.
flashback scene.
Come
there's
on.
there's a hint though. You don't want.
There is a hint, but they don't like.
I don't know if I'd go that far.
Goose.
honestly.
The cat's name is Goose. The Flurkin's name is Goose. Come on, guys.
Talk to me, Goose.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and I love
They could have leaned
yeah.
into it so much more.
in the go-kart sequence. Crazy is playing when she is driving, and James Gunn put that in Guardians 3. But I know for a fact James Gunn probably has no idea it was in for that little snippet in Captain Marvel, because that's famously the song that plays when Adam Warlock is flying into our face in that movie.
I don't think they play that far into the song though. And,
Well, no,
It's
they
the
don't.
same song. Same song, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was a good rendition.
Yeah,
Did-
was it?
Did we talk about?
Thank you.
Did we talk about the Flurkin Nick Fury eyes thing yet?
No.
'Cause if we did, I have to bring it up again.
Bad.
It's
Talk about it,
terrible.
Ben.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
So
Last time I trusted someone, I lost an eye instantly. You are sitting there. How did he lose his eye? What's the story behind
So
it? There has to be
This
something
has-
interesting.
Yeah. Oh, it's this car accident. This is it. This is where he loses his eye. See, look, his eye's all bloody. He's gonna lose it. Oh wait, it's just. Oh, I'll be fine. I'll be fine. All right, cool. Now where is it? The very end of the movie. Stupid Goose, love him to death. Come on, man.
I don't.
Just gets mad for no reason. He's been held this whole movie. He has a moral compass, man. He knows who's good and who's bad, and yet he's still. I think it's poor character writing. Goose would never, not my Goose, all right?
not our Goose.
Not my Goose,
Not my Flurkin.
all right?
100%.
You hate when a movie retroactively makes a past moment that was epic worse.
Every time you
And
watch Winter
like
Soldier,
now,
dude.
that movie, it makes that Winter Soldier reveal worse when he goes, "Last time I trusted someone I love," and then when I don't know if that's Winter Soldier, but then when he's like, "You got to keep both
Winter Soldier,
eyes
yep.
open." That's Winter Soldier, but it even makes the entire name of the Avengers Initiative lamer because he's sitting there at the end.
What do you mean?
Like the Protector Initiative.
That's what it was going to
That
be.
this is the name for the Avenger Initiative. And then he looks at Captain Marvel's jet and it says Carol Avenger Danvers. It's like, oh, the Avengers
Oh,
Initiative.
hold on. They didn't confirm that. They didn't show the. They didn't show the screen.
Were you listening to the music, Mike?
I was listening, and they didn't show the screen.
Dun, dun.
You know, like in
All right.
TV, if a character is not shown on screen dead, he's not dead.
Okay. So what did he type?
Beats me.
The
Protectors.
Beats Me Initiative. Okay.
The Goose Initiative.
Yes.
The Flurkin
The
Initiative.
Flurkin Initiative.
The Let's Try. And then also, this is when I headcanon go back, but when Tony first meets Phil Coulson, their first interaction, Phil is saying the acronym for SHIELD, and he's like, oh, it's a working title. The way and they just fully have the name SHIELD in this movie. The way I retroactively make that work is that Phil Coulson says the acronym, and then he's just so thrown off by Tony's snark that he falls back on it. That's how I do it, but they also
Maybe
like
they're coming up with the acronym, like what it means.
so like SHIELD was already spelled out, and they're trying to
They're
figure
like,
out.
all right, Shield is pretty cool.
You know what? Yeah, I like that better, Micah.
You're
They're
welcome.
like, SHIELD is a dope name. We just don't know what it stands
But
for.
you know what else sucks is it takes them 15 years for them to find
Another Avenger.
another Avenger. Is Iron Man really the second one?
I love that.
I mean, yeah,
Did
they
it?
may have thought of Captain America, but he doesn't show up till 2012.
Right. So
Like what?
like Yeah, I love that. I want to get a mini series of that. Nick Fury just like going door to door trying to find Avengers, and then it's like, oh crap, I found no one. And then he's like looking on the news, and then Tony Stark's like, I am Iron Man. It's like, oh, I shouldn't be looking for these guys. These guys will come find me.
Like, I can't even think of anyone with power sets in that time canon. Anyway, Stan Lee cameo. He's reading a book. He's reading the script for what? Mad Cats?
He also is in the intro, the Marvel intro.
Marvel Studios intro goes out to Stan Lee.
Every character is Stan Lee, which is epic.
Yeah.
It was his first film before that, and it was weird seeing him cameo in Endgame and Captain Marvel in there, knowing that he wasn't there. And it was just, it's a very fitting tribute to have him as the beginning, to have his own logo set. Very cool, I would say. End credit scene for the Avengers Endgame. Very
Gets you
cool.
excited. Gets you excited next week.
Really gets you excited.
Next week. Yeah.
Same bad time. Wow.
I don't think I fully appreciated it. We need to watch a couple more trailers. But yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Avengers Endgame.
Yeah, man.
Is there anything else we need to say about Captain Marvel before we get into this?
Let's go to bed. Let's do this.
All right. Let's go. All right. Favorite character? Micah.
Goose.
Straight up.
There it is.
I love the cat.
Nice.
I love, all right, more specifically, I love Fury and Goose. Not Fury as, I don't like Fury in this movie, but I like Fury and Goose.
As a tandem duo.
Yes, because Fury is not Fury. This isn't Nick Fury.
So overall,
to me, there are
Nick Fury.
aspects of Nick Fury, but overall, Nick Fury should not have been written like this.
okay.
But I do love, I love his little
the team. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Ethan?
I go Talos. I really like
Really?
Talos. Yeah.
I love how they take the character after this.
Right. We're not talking about where they go, Micah. Okay.
What was
Talking
presented?
about what was presented here. I think super compelling in the beginning. I like, what's that actor's name? Ben
Mendelsohn.
Ben Mendelsohn. I love him. I just love him in this movie. I love his voice work with Talos, and he's just really compelling. He, for the first half of the movie where he is a villain, he's a genuine threat and genuine good opposition to our heroes. I really like him, and I just power set shape shifting is a really cool power set. Is what makes Loki so cool, you know. So, yeah, Talos, favorite character.
Clark Gregg.
Clark Gregg.
Coulson. Come on, it's so cool seeing him back.
He paused his work in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to come show up, shoot some scenes for Captain Marvel.
I also want to say that Von Rogg is an okay character.
He's
not terrible.
Who's Von
there you
Rogg?
go. He is the Kree person who is above Captain Marvel in this movie.
Is he the villain?
Played by
Oh,
the
he
main villain.
sucks.
Yeah, no,
He's bad, Ben.
He does not give a terrible performance. He's just we just haven't talked about him. That's why I'm bringing him up.
He's nothing.
Yeah, I
You
don't.
ain't bad. You ain't nothing.
He's a very good actor. I'm blanking on his name right now, but he's
Jude
a very
Law.
good actor.
Jude Law.
Jude Law. Oh my gosh. Yes. Jude Law is fantastic
Jude
in almost
Law.
everything he does. Here it's the writing fails him. Yeah, he's not that great. We just haven't talked about it. That's why I want to bring up. But Phil Coulson is my favorite. Love the scene when they're on the stairway and you can see that good side of him, that hearty side, that Phil Coulson who is going to be there for the Avengers and sacrifice his life.
So that's what it does.
Or so we think in the Avengers. Love seeing him in
He
this.
technically does die, though.
Technically,
They
yes.
resurrect him. In
His
Agents
heart
of
does
S.H.I.E.L.D..
stop.
Yeah.
Favorite scene in Captain Marvel? Micah.
Favorite scene. Yeah. I'll just go with I can't say the whole first act.
That is
The
many,
first
many scenes.
2 hours of the movie.
No, what? No. This is not a movie I would see 140 times.
I genuinely don't know how
Like
he did
how?
that.
How do you do that?
How do you spend 11 straight days in a
Like,
theater?
is watching Captain Marvel, the only time you get a good night's sleep, that would have to be it, where you go, like, come on, like 140 times. How long is a theatrical run for a movie? How many days is a theatrical run for a movie? How many times a day did he have to see?
Wasn't Titanic in theaters for like 6 months?
Yeah, but this is not
A year?
Titanic. This
Not
is
even close.
Captain Marvel.
Why?
I don't know.
Favorite scene, Micah?
I'll say when Captain Marvel is, I mean, do they even say that she's Captain Marvel at all in this movie? Anyway,
Marvel.
that first mission where they go and they don't know that it's all
Yes,
the scrolls.
that's really
and, yeah, I think it's just set up really well. The choreography is pretty great. I mean, as good as this movie could provide.
Mhm.
And, yeah, I mean, it's worth a rewatch for this part, just because you're like, okay, what little hints are showing, the holes in their plan? What are we? Where's the ambush at? And it's yeah. I mean, when the best scene in this movie is, yeah, okay, that shows you.
Fair.
It's definitely one of our weaker films.
All right, my
on
favorite
this
one is
list.
when she falls off the bike and Logan shows up out of nowhere.
Wow. How crazy.
Her dad.
Her dad looks
That's-
like Logan.
That's your favorite character, Logan?
Yeah, Logan. Wolverine is my favorite character in this movie.
People listening have no idea what we're
Nice,
saying. But
nice.
I will go, my favorite scene is the whole sequence where Carol lands in the blockbuster. Then there's the really cool train scene where she beats up a grandma. I like that. I like,
It's
because
more than one scene, but Ethan,
no, this is the sequence I'm picking, Micah.
that's like half an hour.
That's my scene.
If I can't pick Act 1, you can't pick Act 2.
You did pick Act 1 though.
No, I picked the scene where she like where they go, like the whole first mission.
Fine. My favorite scene is when Nick Fury is chasing Carol on the train, and then it's revealed that Clark
that's cool.
Gregg isn't in the car with him.
That's cool.
You get that scroll paranoia. Yeah. Okay.
I liked when she picked up the right stuff in Blockbuster. I was like, oh, sick. It's the right stuff. And Ethan's like, what
Stuff did she pick up?
What stuff did she pick up? No, like, it's the right
You're
stuff.
making a joke like she grabbed the right thing. No, she literally grabbed the right stuff. Ben, you go.
I
Favorite character.
don't
Favorite scene.
Even know. I don't even know. Like,
Post-credit scene?
post-credit scene. I actually
Gone.
felt something
Mhm.
watching that scene.
I wish it was an Into the Spider-Verse clip.
Oh, man. So are we supposed to assume that post-credit scene is the scene right before she goes and finds Tony? I would think
Yeah.
so, right?
Yeah, because that's how would she know about Tony if she
How would
wasn't
she?
there?
Right. And then she comes back and she knows who they are. Yeah. Okay.
Go get Tony.
That's how that happens.
Hello.
I always
Yeah.
wondered that. First time I saw Endgame, I was like, what?
Does she
Okay.
cut her hair? Yeah, she cuts her hair after the time.
After the time
gap.
jump, yeah.
She gets
That
a
was a good
terrible.
one.
She gets a terrible haircut.
What's worse, Mohawk or Endgame haircut?
And yeah.
I don't miss the mohawk.
You don't miss the whole
The Karen cut is bad.
Okay,
Yeah. No,
Okay.
that's not good.
glad they retconned it in the Marvels.
All right, we're here, folks. We're here to rate Captain
Oh
Marvel.
my goodness!
Screen
Finally,
record this.
Come
all
on.
right. How do I screen record again? I forget. Screen record.
I'm really
MacBook.
interested to
We're
hear
gonna,
what
we're gonna
this
get
one
this
has to
screen
say.
recorded so
Shift,
you video watchers can
Command,
see our really
5.
cool spreadsheet.
Yep.
record entire.
Dude,
It's a really
we
good
gotta like
Record. All right, we're going.
All right, Micah, throw the spreadsheet up there
John
for us.
Cross needs this
Boom.
spreadsheet.
All right, let's look at this.
Look at that
We're
thing.
gonna
That's
throw
beautiful.
Captain Marvel onto
Here, let's
our
zoom out
spreadsheet
for our
right here.
viewers who want to just look and.
Well, now we can look.
Yeah, right.
Zoom in for us, Micah.
This is
Just a
about
little bit.
you.
This is about us. We're ranking this.
All right, here it is. This
All
is
right,
the
I can
whole list.
kind of see that.
Here, I got you. Boom.
Not to show my hand, but what did I give Thor: The Dark World?
10 out of 10.
A 10 out of 10.
All right, I can't see this.
That's what I'm saying. It's so small.
Ethan, this is the worst thing ever. All right.
Make it bigger. Now it froze.
Wow. Okay.
Audio listeners, you're getting a treat today.
Here we go.
Oh, sweet.
What did you give Throw the Dark World?
Yeah.
An 8.
I did not give Thor: The Dark World an 8.
6. Sorry, I still can't read it.
Dude, I had a heart attack for you.
I'm like,
All
I
right.
gave it an 8.
All right, it's up there. I'm gonna look at my screen on the MacBook because it's way more detailed than the screen across the room. Dark World, you gave a 6. Ben, you gave a 7. Why am I looking at Dark World scores?
Just because it's a good comparison. What's our lowest rated MCU film?
Our lowest
right
rated
now.
MCU film. Let me see.
Iron Man 2, I believe, is what
No,
it is.
it's
The
definitely
Incredible Hulk
The
was a
Incredible Hulk.
5.8.
Incredible
Love and
Hulk was
Thunder,
our worst?
Love and Thunder, we gave a 5.9.
Well, Love and
No,
Thunder,
no,
we
no,
haven't
no.
hit
I
there
know,
yet.
I know. That doesn't count.
So wait, Incredible Hulk is our worst?
5.8. Followed closely by Throw the Dark World at a 6.5. It's not that
What
close.
did I give Incredible Hulk?
Oh man, you're making me do
Sorry,
jumping jacks over here. You gave it a 6.5.
Okay, good.
I gave it a 5. Ethan gave it a 6. So I was the one who dragged us down.
Come on, bro.
So
It's not usually you. Actually, whenever it's like a 10 out of 10 movie, you always drag us down. So
yeah, I do.
gotta
We're
keep
talking
those
about
scores.
We're talking about Captain Marvel, 10 out of 10 movie.
Yes. What does the internet give Captain Marvel?
Oh
Micah?
yeah, let's check it out. All right, so you guys are gonna see this for the first time. So Captain Marvel, Rotten Tomatoes critic was a 79. Rotten Tomatoes audience was a 45%. Ouch! This was the first one that was really review bombed. You guys remember?
Was it review bomb? or
Yes,
is just
it
bad?
was. I mean, the audience score,
Both.
both,
Ben.
both. Metacritic score was a 64. Metacritic user a 3 out of 10.
Good movies recover from review bombs.
Yes.
Like Barbie.
That's right.
Yeah.
Barbie.
Mhm.
There you go. We love women. Continue.
Yes, we do.
IMDb 6.8. Letterbox 2.9 out of 5, averaging out
2.9.
2.9 out of 5.
That surprises me.
It's still bad.
I understand that. I'm surprised it's that low. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Averaging out to a 5.7 out of 10,
Oh.
putting it at our internet ranking of 59th place.
Dang, we haven't even talked about 59 movies yet.
Dang.
But no one cares about the internet ranking.
59th place. Just under X-Men Apocalypse,
Yeah.
just above Love and Thunder.
Yo, I am not hyped.
We care
to
about
hear.
the infamous Hollywood Reporter ranking.
Boom. You guys at home will see this first. But
ready.
all right, so we were
not
comparing
ready.
this movie a lot to let's compare it to Dark World. Where do you guys think
No.
this compares
Dark World
to
is better.
Dark World?
In my
Is-
opinion,
Mm,
Dark World's better?
mm.
yes.
Okay. All right. Well, let's do a bit more of a curveball. What about X-Men 2?
X-Men 2 is fantastic.
Wait, are you asking this in terms of the Marvel, the infamous Hollywood
The
Reporter?
Hollywood Reporter ranking.
You are. That's what you're asking us
Yeah,
from.
yeah.
Oh, okay. So that
They said this was better. They had to have.
100%.
Because I remember X-Men and X2 are lumped together. Is this 7th place, Micah?
This is 7th place.
They have the 7th place. Wow.
Top 10. We got Doctor Strange, X-Men, X2, Captain Marvel, Spider-Man, Sam
Man, I
Raimi,
can't even keep it together.
Captain America, Winter Soldier, Iron Man, Black Adam, Iron Man 2, Avengers.
Okay.
We have seen the entire top 10.
Black Adam.
Sorry, Black Panther, whatever
Did
that
you
movie's
say
called.
Black Adam?
Sorry, I was looking at the ILM Stagecoach movies.
Someone at home was listening like, wow.
Wow, I can't believe a DC movie topped the Marvel list.
It's one of the best. Dang.
Who cares though?
Yep.
Oh, also Screen Crush put it at 40th place.
Actually,
so
that's insane.
that's,
I care
something
so
else.
much. 7th place. Wow.
But
Guys.
no one
Really
cares.
get 7th place on our list.
Definitely.
Stay tuned to find out.
What is currently 7th place for us, Mike?
7th place
Yeah.
for us right now is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Ooh, yeah. Captain Marvel's
So it's
going
gonna
right
take
there.
7th place right there.
Yeah, take it. 10.
Guys,
let's genuinely rank this one.
Let's do this.
Ethan,
Oh.
you're first, bro. What's it
Okay.
gonna be?
What did I give
It's gonna be.
that movie? Let me look at our previous scores
You're not
for
allowed to.
reference just to see where I can gauge this.
You're not allowed to do that.
Yeah, I don't like this movie. This movie,
Here, I'll zoom in on the top 10.
like,
So you
this
can,
is one of those movies I hadn't seen since theaters, so it was cool. Today basically felt like the first time watching it again because I had forgotten a lot of this movie. So that was really cool to sit down and watch a Marvel movie kind of for the first time again.
You mean it was that forgettable that you can?
Yes,
I agree.
but no, I don't get a lot from this. Carol Danvers, every time I watch this, I want to love Carol Danvers. I do, and I'm never pulled into that character and into her story. It's a very movie, but it does not cross the line to being offensively bad. Yeah, I think this is kind of boring, and towards the end, you really, really get tired, and you just want the movie to end. The third act is very long, very samey, kind of just Captain Marvel hitting spaceships and blowing stuff up. It just gets very repetitive. But I do not think this is the worst MCU film we've seen. Where do I want to put this? I want to give this, I'm not going to look at my other scores. I want to give this a 5.5.
Ouch.
5.5, just over the it's better than it is bad, but it's not one I want to rewatch.
Okay.
Although, what did I give First Class?
First Class, you gave a 5.5.
Okay.
We all give First Class a 5.5.
Let me bump Captain Marvel up then to a 5.6, because First Class, listeners, go rewatch that movie. Take off the C and the L of the title of that movie.
Ooh.
Dude, Magneto alone makes it better than this movie.
Lies. So Captain Marvel's gonna be under a 5.5 for Micah.
Wow.
Ben, go ahead.
Me first?
Yeah.
Or Micah?
Okay.
Whoa,
All right.
for Micah.
Grand finale.
Micah gets the
Absolutely.
grand finale.
So I said before this movie started, I'd said to you, Ethan, I said, I think I'm going to like this better than what I originally thought. It's been a while since I've seen this movie. I think I'm going to like this better. I'm fresh off the Marvels, which was truly terrible. It was not good. That movie is offensively bad, in my opinion. And this movie, it did not live up to what I said. It was not better than I had originally thought. It is what it is, with many problems due to the script.
What it is.
And the lead never becoming engaging. I don't know who to blame here. I really don't. But
The writing.
Is it the writing?
Writing direction, yeah.
It's just, the story is not that interesting. It just never really pulls you in. And even Nick Fury, Samuel L. Jackson, who is a titan of industry, never has me pulled into this movie. So with all of that being said, it is not offensively bad, though. Never once am I sitting here and being like, what in the world are you doing? Except for the Skrulls, which really take a lot off this movie. And in that case, I'm giving this a 5. A 5 out of 10.
Middle of the road.
Very mid.
Oh, mid.
I think that this movie, unlike what you guys said, I think it very slightly dips its toes into the offensively bad territory. Not quite to the extent as
what dips its toe, Micah, in there?
What
Other
dips
than
its
Brie
toe?
Larson's toes that we see for a brief shot in the movie.
I think I want to see this 139 more times. Oh man, I forgot about that
He's
scene.
a guy you should marry.
Mystery solved. Mystery solved.
I think the biggest offense to me is the waste of potential that this has. It sets itself up so with such hopes,
right,
at the beginning, like, oh, this is going to be this movie, and then it just unfairly turns to a completely different movie that I don't care about. And yes, there are some redeeming qualities, but no, it is not enough for me to make this more than a 5. This is going to be a 4.9 for me. Looking at my scores by it, I gave Daredevil a 4.8. I think after watching Daredevil season 1 and 2, I would probably bump that down a little more.
Oh, it's
just
so
because
bad. So
Charlie
bad.
Cox is so good as Daredevil, just in comparison.
Ben Affleck
So
sucks.
as you are computing those scores of a 5, a 5.5, and a 4.9, Micah, if I didn't cut you off,
No, that's about all I had to say. The rest was just about Charlie
I have
Cox,
a proposition to you, gentlemen, on this Marvel movie marathon. Would it be too much? And it very well could be, because I thought about it, and then I thought about it some more, and I'm like, maybe we
Too
shouldn't
much.
do
You're an
this.
idiot.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I think about that a lot, actually. I have a thought, and then I'm like, wait. Would it be too much to, at the end of this, at the end of all things, go back and you get 3 re-rankings.
Can we make it 5? Then it's
No,
then
only
it-
3. You
no,
only
please.
get 3. You only get 3.
How
And
about
you
6
say,
for the number of Infinity Stones, Ben?
that's
Oh,
too
it's too
much. I feel
poetic.
like that's too much. That's too many
Micah
movies
would use one
to
of his
alter the
3
score.
picks to
And I-
lower
And
Howard
I
the Duck
also
to
think,
make it a 10.
I also think
just for the memes.
the more you fiddle around with it, it's like, no, I want this higher, so I'm going to give it a higher score. No, it's a regret that you have. Okay, maybe I don't think that is truly this high, or maybe it's not that bad.
Ben's been
Maybe it
thinking
deserves,
about this a lot.
you know, would it be too much, or we're fresh off the movie? This is my score. We're not so fresh off of it anymore. Now we have
Let's
time
talk
to
about
think
this
about
later.
it. You know,
We'll-
that's something I
Ethan
want to
says
throw
that's a
out.
stupid idea.
No.
Get off this podcast.
Talk about that later.
You are off the panel.
We've just been very strict about our scores up until
We
this
have been.
point.
We have been. That's why it might be a stupid idea.
But we could pull out our time stones.
You know what's not a stupid score is our score for Captain Marvel. Ben with a 5.6. Ethan, 4.5. Ethan with a 5.6. Hold on, I'm looking at the wrong thing. I'm looking at Blade Trinity, which is right beneath it. Let me highlight this now. Ethan with a 5.6, Ben with a 5, and me with a 4.9. That averages us out to a 5.17.
Ooh.
Our second MCU movie to have a rotten score.
Well,
Ouch.
Incredible Hulk.
Incredible Hulk.
Yeah,
Yep.
right.
Is this our worst MCU film?
This is our worst MCU film.
Dang.
It is the Incredible Hulk was a 5.8. This is a 5.1. You guys hate women, don't you?
No, we really want, I
You
really
guys.
want to be different.
You rated it the lowest out of us.
Like, I really want to be different. When you look at every MCU ranking, this one is always at the bottom, and you always want to have
Especially how they're
a
reported.
hot take. You always want to defend a film more than it deserves. But as it shows, the 3 movies that are at the bottom of almost everyone's ranking are at the bottom of our ranking. And that just goes to show, like, common consensus
Yeah, Dark
is
World,
a big thing.
Incredible
Yes.
Hulk, and Captain Marvel. But
Yeah.
there's still a pretty big jump between Incredible Hulk and Dark World. I
Well,
feel that there is some merit to Dark
Well,
World.
the thing
We
is-
give a lot of sympathy to Dark World because Loki is a great character. Thor is a good character.
And I love Thor.
Oh, who let
Yeah.
this
I really
pass?
like Thor. Like, I also don't really see. You say you see those movies at the. I definitely see Thor. I definitely see Iron Man 2. You know, I don't usually see Captain Marvel at the very bottom
Mm-mm.
of the list.
Especially Hollywood Reporter.
It's definitely low, but it's not always at the very bottom. So I mean, that might be the case for us. And again, if you like this movie, again, we are sharing our opinion. So often that is not the case. You are not allowed to do that on the internet. There were very many comments that I read on that Captain Marvel, the Marvel short, that is just
Yep.
you guys ain't like, okay, is sharing your opinion not a thing on the internet anymore? It's starting to
When
become
has it
that
ever
way.
been a thing, Ben?
Well,
Yeah, what are you
it's-
talking about, Ben? Come on.
But that's where I'm at right now. If you like this movie, we're not telling you you're an
Good
idiot.
for you.
Yes.
Go watch it 140
Go
times.
go watch it. Buy the 4K.
Guess who doesn't like this movie?
We don't.
Me.
Yeah, and that's
I don't-
okay. Not every movie's made for everyone.
Exactly.
And yeah, we said maybe the writing's not good. Maybe you like the writing. Good for you.
Good for you.
Okay.
If you like it, please leave a comment down below.
Micah
I'd
liked
love to talk
Venom,
to you.
right?
Yeah, yeah.
Shout out to Brandon Stoneberg. Hopefully you're listening this far in. He approached me on Wednesday and said he loves Venom too. So he hopped in the
Venom
ring.
also or Venom 2?
He I don't know. Brandon, let me know if
I
you like
haven't seen
Venom.
the
or
second
Could Be
one.
Carnage. The second one. Yeah.
Which one are you
I don't
talking
know.
about here?
But yeah,
We'll
not
never know.
every movie connects with everyone. And this is our ranking, the definitive correct ranking on the
3
internet.
thumbs down.
3 thumbs
Three
down.
thumbs right there.
3 big toes down. Let's do this
Yeah.
correct.
Dang.
100%. Well, we kind of already spoiled it, but Micah, what's next week?
We're in the end game now.
Dun, 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 dun.
We have made it.
Guys,
55.
Who
our
would've
55th
thought?
film. Man, Avengers Endgame. Man, am I excited.
Guys,
Holy cow.
We're going to have to figure out how to fit a 3-hour movie into our schedules next week.
Easy. If it's for Endgame, it's easy.
I'm finishing on Thursday.
I can do it.
You guys want to record Thursday?
We'll talk about that after this.
Yeah.
Because we definitely got some things to talk about.
Yes, scheduling for sure.
For those of you who are listening later on, and this is a little bonus to you for the two of you who are listening.
Zach.
All right.
Brandon.
We have come, we are 95% sure
John
that
Cross.
we have come to a conclusion on what our next marathon is going to be. And for those of you who are listening, I believe it is going to be, as of right now,
I think
Say it together, guys. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Lord of the
Batman.
Wars.
Oh.
Dang it. I guess we haven't come to a conclusion yet.
Hello.
That was perfect. Cut this out.
No, this staying in, man.
100%. No, I think it's going to be Star Wars. I think we're going to do Star Wars next.
I'm down.
Release order. A New Hope. Actually, it's just Star Wars at the time.
Can we confirm Ewoks?
Yes. We can confirm Ewoks.
It's in recording, guys. We're doing the
confirm
Ewok films.
Ewoks. We don't know if it's going to be a whole episode talking about all of that together.
Holiday special rewatch?
Or if we're going to do that, I
But you
can't
have to commit
confirm that
right now.
No, I'm not committing to that. If you want a great holiday special podcast, go check out me and Ethan talking about that great
We're
film.
watching A New Hope again.
We are watching New Hope again, but this time,
a good movie.
this time we're ranking it.
Oh,
This time we're going to rank it with all three of us, and that's going to be fun because
I bet it'll be number one.
Marvel we have largely not had that differing opinions on Marvel, but there is definitely some big differences of opinion on the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
For sure. And that's going to breed some great conversation. That's for sure. So look forward to that in the coming of the new year, those of you who are listening.
our year in review is coming up too. I'm excited for that. The Multiverse
I've already started
Awards.
to make that. Holy cow, am I excited for that. That's going to be a great podcast.
Yes.
But otherwise, we have Avengers Endgame, we have Spider-Man Far From Home, and we have Dark Phoenix left. Marvel movie marathon.
Swap Spider-Man and Dark Phoenix.
Swap those two. Yeah,
In the
my
order.
bad.
Yeah.
Peak,
And Peak.
trash. Oh, peak. Sorry.
Yeah,
Peak, and peak. Yeah.
we will be the judge of that. So stay tuned for all of that exciting things, for all of those exciting things at Multiverse Monologues. My name is Ben Rayside,
I'm Ethan.
I'm Captain Micah.
and we all hope you have an absolutely fantastic day.